Welcome to Monday Tsene with Pretoria Psychologists. This is our series for spring. Yes, for many people, spring means new things, and we are terming for this month all things new because of the September month. So all things new, it comes with different things. We are hopeful, especially as we fight the pandemic to the core, and maybe for many people the pandemic is almost at the tail end. But well, is it all things new? Sadly, there is what we call SAD. SAD is seasonal affective disorder. Most of the time, and maybe historically, we have only heard about SAD in the Scandinavian countries, especially because of the sun or the lack of the sun that shines in certain times of the month. But then I have also made an observation. Growing up, I have had a term called ditlhare. For those people who have grown up in a Sotho kind of context, you will understand what I mean when I say ditlhare. Around about this time, because it's springtime in the southern hemisphere, the trees start to form their leaves to prepare for the fruiting later on around October, November. So is also many blooms that comes around this time, because then we have the rain that comes, so that we prepare for the spring and for the summer. So with this ditlhare also comes a form of SAD in our nation or in the southern hemisphere, the seasonal affective disorder. How do we see that somebody has got seasonal affective disorders? Seasonal affective disorders usually happens at the same time of the year. So I will give an example. Each time at the anniversary of the death of a loved one, you become sad. The seasonal affective disorder. You start to mourn, you grieve again. Remember, last month we were talking about grieving in the context of the pandemic. So you find that next year, this time, if you lost a loved one, you start to become depressed, which is one of the signs of SAD, of seasonal affective disorder. So that is one of the ways in which we see that you are sad, you've got seasonal affective disorder, is that it happens each and every time at more or less the same time when the particular incident that has made you to be sad, to be depressed, to cause that. So it happens more or less at the same time. And then also we see that because at this time people have got more energy because they are springing on to life. It's the newness of life. You know, the people that maybe were depressed throughout winter, now they've got energy. And this is also where we see the growing number of suicidality. I've also observed, even in the institution where I am at, where each and every year in September there is an incident or two of suicide. And what causes that? It could be as a result of SAD, the seasonal affective disorder, because what happens is when a person is depressed, remember we said depression is marked by lethargy, low energy, where a person is unable to do a lot of things, but then spring brings on hope of this newness. But then also with this hope of newness comes renewed energy. So which then means that a person has got the energy to then commit suicide. So yes, they did not intend for that energy to be there, but then because they have not resolved the depression, therefore then the energy to then go through with committing suicide, especially in lethal ways. So ways such as jumping from a high building, or you know, being on a train track, you know, so in ways that require a lot of energy. Because as I said, during the time when they were depressed, maybe in the times when they did not have the energy, they could not go through with that action. But then because of the newness, the spring, so meaning that all things new can also bring things that are quite devastating in our lives. How do we then be able to see that a person need help? when we see a sudden change in the behavior of a person, we need to take note of that. A person will then, say their goodbyes. They will maybe sell their or even give away their precious possession. They will be talking more and more about death. They will be ruminating about death. They will be even fantasizing or actually glamorizing dying. So, I'm better off dead. I will be, I'm no good being alive, and so on. So you will hear words like that, and a person will sort of be preparing that they are going. Those are some of the signs in which we can see. And as I said, most of the time, SAD is marked by symptoms that are very much similar to depression, and in that is that there is a lack of serotonin that is there, and that is why then the mood is down at that place. So we need to recognize. So I have matched the spring, all things new, as we say, Monday Tsene with Pretoria Psychologists, with the newness of spring, be it that it's September, but most of the time we see that then there is this seasonal affective disorder, which the symptoms are very much the same as depression, but because there is renewed energy in people, then there is that possibility that the person then goes through with the suicide that they were not able to go through when they were not in a place where they have a lot of energy. This is a little bit of nuggets for the week. Skaftini Asisi for the week. Ashiwe, Monday Tsene with Pretoria Psychologists. See you next time. But what is very much important is that you get help for whatever emotions that you are feeling at the moment, so that you are not affected in a negative way, such as suicidality. Because yes, suicide is a solution, but is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Thank you, and see you next time.